Okay. Hi everyone. So in this session, we will take our assignment assessment now to the next level. Currently, we are finished with the creating the UI part. As you know, there is a listing page, and this is your form. Now, if I go back here, I want to whenever I will click on the add employee, if I fill this information, click on the submit. I want to store this information in the database. So for that purpose, we should have the database schema and everything ready. So what are all things you require? First of all, as soon as you click here, okay, in the create form, as soon as you click on the submit button, it will give a call to the employee save method, which should be a post. So that method, first of all, we need to create this one. Save method is a post method, and it will pass the data, whatever you enter in the UI, it will pass into your source code. And from that point onwards, you have to use entity framework in order to save your information into the database. Got it? Now, how to set up the database? First of all, go to the models folder, right click, add one class. So that class name should be employee class. Okay. Then you can add one more class, right click, add another class. That is your. Let me open the requirements. Okay. So employee class should have these many properties. So go here. Okay. Second class is designation class. So just create that as well. Okay. Employee class, designation class. In the employee class, you should have some properties, right? So you can just type prop double tab, then it will automatically generate the schema. And you want to add ID, first name, last name. So here is the ID. Again, string, first name, next, string, last name, next, email address, next, phone number, next, integer, designation ID. Okay. This is foreign key of the designation table. Next, designate grade ID. Okay. So this is how you can create the model class. We can call it as a model. And you can just make your string as a nullable. So by using the question mark, you can make your string as a nullable. Now this is ready. Okay. So this ID should be my primary key. So I will use key attribute here. Okay. And then now go to the designation class and write same properties. Designation ID, then designation name, and then is active. So is active is a Boolean flag, whether it is active or not, true and false. And this should be nullable. And this ID should be primary key. Okay, so that's it. Now create one more class, right click, add class, grade. So this grade is basically having some more properties like int ID, string, name. Okay, like this grade name, designation ID, and is active. So designation ID and is active, question mark, like this. So you are having designation, employee, and grade. So this ID should be primary key. So use the key annotation. Okay. Employee should have the foreign key of designation ID. So how to add foreign key annotation? You can use foreign key. Okay, like this foreign key. In this, sorry, not here, not here. For each ID, each foreign key ID, you should have one more property like this. Okay. So here I will add one more property. Designation is the data type. Okay. and property name will be designation, like this. And this should be a virtual. For the lazy loading in entity framework, you will come to know what is that. And here, I don't want to run actually. Here, I will add foreign key. Foreign key, and which column we need to refer for the foreign key? This column, like this. Okay. And this should be nullable. Okay, so we have added designation ID, grade ID, designation ID as a foreign key of this class. Save, rebuild, and apply changes. And copy this one more time. We done the foreign key reference for designation table. Now we wanted to do that same for the grade table. So here I will do grade. Okay, so grade ID is a foreign key of grade table. And here we should have grade as a data type. Grade. Okay, now we got the employee class fully implemented. Go to the designation. See, is there any foreign key? No. Go to the grade. Is there any foreign key? Yes. So same like our employee, you have to do this thing in the grade class as well, like this. Designation ID is a foreign key of the designation class. That's it. So now you have your database structure ready, table structure ready. You want to create one DB context class. Okay, right click, add class, give the name like employee emp DB context. So this class is basically your representation of your database. Okay, so for your database, if you want to create the database automatically through the source code, you should have the DB context class. And this class should be inherited from the DB context class from the entity framework. Context class from the entity framework. Now it is throwing exception because we do not have this package installed. Which package? Entity framework core. You have to find and install the latest version. Okay. So we have just installed the latest version of the entity framework. So as we are using .NET 6, it will not allow you to do that. So what you can do, right click here, go to the manage NuGet packages, then go to the browse and search for entity framework core, like this, entity framework core. And while installing, don't install 8.0, install 6.0 because our .NET version is 6 only. So you have to stick with the relevant packages. You can't use 8.0 with the .NET 6. So that's why. Okay. So entity framework core 6.0. We have installed this. As soon as you're done with this, you have to install one more package. So one more package for SQL server. So search for entity framework SQL server. Search for here. If you got this is MySQL. This is not there. A search like this. Framework SQL. Yeah, this one. Entity framework core dot SQL server. Go here, select 6.0 and install. Okay. Now we have installed the .NET framework. Sorry, we have installed the entity framework. Go here, add the NuGet package. See, there is no error now. Here, you have to use one more thing, like you have to add the DB set for each and every table. Okay, give me a minute. So we are basically doing the database setup. Okay, in app setting.json file, you will require connection string. So let me open that. Yeah, this is the file only. Here we will have to add the connection string. Then we'll have to add the DB set here. So let's do that. How to add the DB set? Prof DB set for your employee class first. Okay. Why we need to do the DB set? Because you want to add employee table in your database. So just assume this is your database file. In this database, you want to add employee table. So that's why you can just add it by using TBL employees like this, employees. Okay, and it can be nullable. Then I want to add grade table as well. I will do same thing. DB set designation question mark designation. Then I will copy it again and I will add grade as well. Grade, grade. Okay, so we have added these three tables with our application. Now you have to do the connection string. Okay, so first of all, open SSMS. SSMS means SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, and in app setting.json file, add the connection string section. So here also you can add that. You can add like connection strings, enter default connection colon. Here you can mention data source equal to your PC name. Okay, if you go to the SQL Server Management Studio, here you will get the server name. So just copy that and paste it here. Okay, then initial database, sorry, initial catalog is equal to your project name. So I want to give the database name as a, here they have mentioned MVC employee database. So this is my database name. Next, as we do not have username password, you can do integrated security equal to SSPI. Okay, and then you can have some timeout related things as well, like connect timeout is equal to 300 and trust certificate. So this trust server certificate you will have to add for HTTPS. Okay, trust server certificate equal to 2. You don't have to memorize this. Okay, you will get the connection string format anywhere in the internet. Don't have to memorize this. Only I am just writing it manually to get you the understanding. What are all things you need to care while writing the connection string? So you will require the server name, database name, and if it is there is no password and username, you can go with this. This is connection timeout, and if you are working with HTTPS, you have to add this as well. Okay, fine. Now you can again go back to your DB context file. So in the DB context file, go there. Here, first of all, add the virtual keyword here to make it lazy load. Whenever you require some data, then only it will work. Add one constructor here, public AMP DB context. Okay. In this, we have one syntax like DB context options. Provide your DB context file name, EMP DB context, and parameter is your options. In this parameter, you don't have to do anything. Just leave it as is. That's it. You are done with the DB context file and you are done with your model classes. Now this time is to read the connection string and register the dependency for your DB context class. So why we require to register dependency? Because if you register that, then you can get the object of your DB context anywhere. Okay, how to register that? Go here. First of all, read the connection string. Okay, so you can read the connection string here. This is the right place. Okay, here you can do that. What you can do, first of all, string equal to connection string. You have to read this from the app setting file. Okay, how to read that? Builder dot configuration dot get connection string. Mention the connection string name, default connection, like this. It is not, it can be nullable, so it will give you the connection string. As soon as you got the connection string, you can register the DB context class dependency like this: builder.services dot add DB context. Okay. In this, mention your DB context name, emp DB context, and provide that options with the provider. So provider is options dot SQL server. Okay. Dot SQL server. Use SQL server and provide the connection string, whatever connection you are having, like this. That's it. You are now able to connect to the database. You are good to go. Now let's first of all build the project. Okay. So now you can see project is ready. I'm just running this. Okay. Yeah, it is working. Go back, click here. Okay, great. Now the time is to create the database in the SSMS. So in SSMS, I'm just connecting like this. Okay. You can see if I go to the database, there is no MVC employee DB available, right? Now I want to create that. How I can do it? Just go here, package manager console, open that, and then type one command. Command is add migration. Give the name like initial migration. Whatever name you want to do, you can just give that. It is throwing exception. Why? Yeah. So if you want to run that add migration command, you have to install one more package. That is entity framework and search for tools. Tools. This one. Again, you have to use latest version, that is 6.0 for us. Install it. Accept. Close. Go to the package manager console. Run that command again. It will not throw any exception this time. It will start build started, build succeeded, and it will create one migration folder in the solution explorer, and there it will store initial migration file. If you go here, migration folder, in that you will find initial migration file. This file will tell you what all changes it will apply to the database. So basically it will create a table designation, it will create a table grade, it will create a table employees to your database, create some indexes upon your primary keys, and all these things. Okay, now apply this migration to your database. So you can go do one thing, go to the package manager console and use this command, update database install. It will now use this migration file, latest migration file, and apply these changes to your database. See, it is applying now. Okay, you are getting one error. That is introduction foreign key constraint employee on table employee may cause a cycle on multiple cascade path. Employees grade ID. Okay, maybe our structure is wrong, little bit long. So you can go here. So it is saying from the employee you are having grade, but from the grade you are again having designation. It means it can be a problem. Okay. So if that is the case, designation, okay. So you can have a grade and grade can have the designation. So you can do one thing. If I remove the grade foreign key, because grade has the designation anyway. Okay. And let me check the requirement again. So all grades are unique, like A1, A2, A3. It has designation. Yeah, it is unique. So let's do one thing. Let's remove this foreign key constraint. Okay, I'm just removing that, commenting it. Okay, because we don't require that. Rebuild. Now, by using the grade, you can anyway get the designation. So why to add multiple foreign keys to the employee class? Now again, you have to do one more thing. Go add migration, initial migration to, enter. So it will create one more file now, this time. Okay. So in initial migration to, you can see it will drop the foreign key constraint from the employee table. Now you can just apply this. Go here, package manager console, update database. Now there is one more error. Employees grade ID on the table employees may cause the cycle. Which migration file it is trying to apply? First of all, see that it is trying to apply. Let's do one thing. Let's delete the migration folder. Create a new migration from the scratch and see. Okay. It has created a new table, employee designation table, grade table, employee table with only one foreign key. See, only one foreign key this time. Now try to apply this by using the update command. Okay, no error, right? So you got done. Done means you can go to the SSMS, right click and refresh. If you refresh, you can see our database has been created, MVC employee database. In that, if you expand, you can see designation, employee grade, all these tables are available. In the employee, we are having these columns. In the designation, we are having these columns. And in the grade, we are having these columns. It means it is working perfectly fine. Now this time is to save the record in the database. Okay, how to do that? Let's check. So in order to save the record in the database, you will require the DB context class. Okay, so that DB context class object you can register here as a dependency injection, right? Read only. Okay, read only emp db context underscore emp db context and pass this as a parameter. Sorry, it will get the parameter, assign that to this, and using that you can just save the information like dot employees dot add. This is entity lambda expression. Okay, to save do the database queries. So you will get the information here. Employee emp, that emp you can add into the database and do emp db context dot save changes like this. So this can be null and this can be null. So that's why you can put the question mark there. There is no warning. Okay. So this is how you can just add into the database. So this is for save. As soon as save, it should redirect to the index method. So that's why redirect to action. Now let's check whether this employee, whatever properties we are having, same name we are having in the create form or not. So for first name, you are having first name, not txt first name. It should have first name. Okay, this can be ID, no issues, but name property should have first name like this. Okay, this is your last name. This is your email. This is your phone number. The phone number, let's check. This name you have to add here. Okay, then designation ID. So here you can add that. Name is equal to designation ID. Okay, and grade is equal to grade ID. Okay, so these names, designation ID, grade ID, these names of your property should match with your tick box name property. Then only it will map the correct value into the correct property upon the submit event, and then you will get all the information into this object. Here you can just mention from form like this. So from the HTML form, it will post the data, and that data you will get bind into this object, and that object you can store in the database like this. Save the database changes, redirect to the list. Now let's apply the debugger, run the project. Okay, now whatever we are showing in the list, I'm just deleting that. Okay, in the index page, this was the hard-coded rows, right? 1, 1, 2, 3. So this we can go and remove. Only one row should be there. Okay, add employee. I'm just adding the employee name, right? Let's say Mayur Patil, Mayur at gmail.com. This is his phone number, which is dummy. Designation, actually, we do not have in the dropdown because we need to get the designation information from the database, bind to this dropdown, and then you can be able to choose that. So for now, I'm just adding some dummy data, some basic data in the grade table, as well as in the designation table. Okay, so where is the dummy data? This is the dummy data they have already provided. So designation name is equal to junior software engineer. Is true? Yes. Enter. Next is software engineer. Is true? Yes. Enter. Senior software engineer. Is true? Yes. Like that. Then false means 0. Then tester is true? Yes. And ACO is true? No. Like this. Okay. CO, not ACO. Name, next one is grade name. So go here, grade name, designation ID 1 is true 1, like this. Okay, A2 designation 1 is true 1. A3 designation 1 is true 1. B1 designation 2 is true 1. B2 like this. Okay, so you can just add all this information. B3 designation 3 is true 1, like this. B4 designation is 3 is true 1. So this is how we can just add the dummy information. So this I will not add because this is sufficient for me. Okay, now our next step should be refresh. Next step should be this drop down should bind with the data available in the database. So there are two APIs we need to write. One is get designation, second one is get grade. Okay, so that we should add a separate controller for them, but for time being, I'm just adding them in the employee control. Okay, so API is get employees, sorry, get designations. Okay, this is get API. The role of this API is to get the data from database, return it to the UI. Okay. Also, we can do one thing. Instead of writing the API, we can do one thing. This is your listing page, right? This is your create page. In this page only, we can do one thing. View back designations. is equal to db context dot designation dot where only those designation I want which are having the is valid is active true. So it will give me the list. Okay. So this is the lambda expression which where you can apply the where condition as well. Okay. To avoid this warning, I'm just putting as a question mark. So you got the designation. Now I want to add grade as well. So grades will come from the grade table. Okay. Now we have viewback of designation, viewback of grades. Go to the create page, go here and for loop. Okay, you can put the for loop like this. At the rate for each where item in viewback dot designation. That's it. Okay. In this for loop, you can basically print the value and display text of your designation table. So you can see at the rate item dot name. Okay, this is your display name and value is at the rate item dot id. That's it. You can go to the designation table here. You can see name and id both should be present there in capital format. So same thing you can use here, name capital, I capital. Same thing you can copy and paste for grade. So just mention here grades and grade table we are having id and name. So we are good. ID and name. Now if we refresh like this, let's run it again. Go to the add button. It will go to the database, load the data, it will show the data. See, junior software engineer, software engineer. This all data is coming from the database, A1, A2, because we haven't hard coded that data in the code, right? We have just added the mapping between this controller, get the data from database, go to the create page, display in a for loop. So all these things we are doing in the code, but data is added here. Now you can see in the designation table we are having ACO, 8 number row, which is having is active false. That's why in the UI you are not able to see the ACO, CEO. Sorry, the CEO you are not able to see because it has a false flag. But if I make it true, let's say if I make it true and if you just refresh this page, then here you will see that CEO, ACO. Not sure what is that. Should be CEO, right? What is ACO? Ah, it should be CEO only. Not sure. Anyways, whatever that is. But if you want to display that in a view, make it true. Otherwise, it will automatically add. It means it is database driven. You don't have to change your code in order to hide and show some designation. So it is the beauty of dynamic approach. Okay, you can see that is no longer visible. If you make it false, it should not be visible in the designation dropdown. It is the beauty of writing dynamic approach. So whatever you will change in the database will be reflected in the UI with no code changes. Okay, now it's time to add the new employee. So let's enter the information. Mayur Patil, Mayur at gmail.com. This is the mobile number. The designation is, grade is, submit. As soon as you submit and go to the employee table here, right click, edit mode. This is the Mayur record. Automatically added. Email address is not added. Why? Because column name is email address. And in your UI field here, in UI field, you have added email. So that's why it is not mapping the proper value with the proper field or property. So let's do one thing. Let's delete it again. Okay, I'm deleting it again. Yes. Go to the employee form. Enter the same information this time. Okay, let me check whether I have saved it or not. Yes. Mayur Patil, Mayur at gmail.com. phone number, designation, grade, submit. You can see in the database, you got the email address as well, because this time I have mapped the value with the correct property. Okay. So this is how we can just do the insert operation. Now the time is to retrieve the data and display in the grid, because this Sudarshan Patil is hard coded. So what we can do, go to the controller here, copy this line, paste it here, and tell here that employees, and retrieve the employees from employee table, obviously. And there is no condition. Okay, no condition at all. I want to display all the employees. That's it. And you need to do one more for loop, same like this, in the employee, sorry, index page outside of tr, because for each tr I want a separate row, for each employee I want a separate row. Okay, so I need one more counter, integer counter is equal to 1. Why we require counter? For increasing the serial number. We'll increase that here in the for loop only, like this. Okay, and now you can do item, sorry, at the rate item dot first name. Okay, first name space, you want to display full name, right? So you can do like this, first name space item dot last name. Okay, now this time I want to display the email ID as well. So at the rate item dot email address, what your field name, just have to write as it is here, phone number, here grade name, right? So grade name, how we can get, sorry, designation name, how we can get it, item dot grade dot designation dot name. Okay, I will tell you why this must so complex or nested nation we need to do here, grade name. So you can see, I'm done. So you can see grade designation name. So if you go to the item means employee class, there you will find the grade, this one. I want to display designation. So inside the grade, I have designation. Inside the designation, I have name. So that's why this is so complex object, like this, grade, then designation, then name. Okay. Now it will throw the exception, obviously. Why? Because this grade you will get null, and if it is null, then it will not able to find the name of the designation. It will throw the exception. You can see there is an exception, null, dynamic null. Okay. So for this, you can do one thing. Just do dot include employees dot, not sure why, include. This is the function. Maybe we need to add some package here. Yeah, this package. Include. I want to include grade. P dot grade. Then include. Then include. Once grade has been included, I want to include designation as well. Now it will not throw the exception. If we go and see the output, it should not throw the exception. Not sure. Still it is showing yp. Okay. Dot to list. Let's attach the debugger and run the project. Okay. Go next. This is how you can debug line by line. If you're not sure about the output, you can debug it and then see the employee object. What is there in the employee? This is dynamic actually, so that's why you are not able to debug that properly. Let me confirm. So employee context give, then include P. So let's change the variable name, so that way it will not refer the this P. Okay. And it should work actually. Not sure why it is not. So for each, this line is throwing exception. Right. Because we have added our data in employee key, right, for view back. If you go here, you are iterating designation. No, we need to iterate employees. See the output, Mayur Patil. Okay. Now let me add one more. So you can see the beauty. Onkar Mukne. Onkar@gmail.com. Designation is senior software engineer. Senior software engineer. Grade is whatever A1, A2, A3. So it is, let's say, B3. Submit. See, Onkar Mukne having this designation, this grade, this phone number. Okay. So this time is to delete the record. If I click here, click on OK, it should get deleted. Okay. Let's do that. So in the delete, first of all, here you have to pass the dynamic ID, item.id, capital ID. Then it will give a call to the delete API. In the controller, there is a delete. This is the ID. And by using the DB context class like employee DB context dot employee dot find, you can post the ID. It will give you the employee record. And this employee record you can use for the delete purpose like employee DB context dot employees dot remove, provide that employee object. And then last thing is save changes. That's it. Remove this warning by putting the question mark. Okay. And add the semicolon. Here also remove the warning. Here also remove the warning. That's it. Now if you refresh here, see in the database you are now having two records, right? 1 and 2. You want to delete the second record, Onkar. Go here, click OK. See, it is deleted. Go here, refresh. See, it is deleted. So delete operation is also now completed. So add employee is completed, back is completed, delete is completed. Now times to implement the edit operation. So for edit operation, it will definitely go to the create employee form only, but this time it is passing the ID. Okay. So in the create form, if it is passing the ID, then get the data employee information by provided ID first of all. Okay. And then go to view, add here model employee, this one. Okay. And pass that employee as a parameter. If employee is equal to null, अगर database में वो ID वाला employee है ही नहीं, in that case just create a normal employee class which will have the empty values like this. अभी हमें क्या करना है, यहाँ पे उनके वैल्यूज भी दिखाने हैं. इसकी वैल्यू एक्टिवेट मॉडल डॉट ID डॉट फर्स्ट नेम इस टाइप से. सो इससे क्या हो जाएगा, हमें डायनेमिक वैल्यू को प्री पॉपुलेट कर देगा. अगर एडिट मोड में कोई ओपन कर रहा है, इट विल प्री पॉपुलेट द वैल्यूज. ओके. ईमेल एड्रेस, here phone number, here designation ID. ओके. डिजिग्नेशन आईडी अभी कैसे रहेगा, फॉर लूप में देखना पड़ेगा अपने को. यहाँ पे सिलेक्टेड नाम का एट्रीब्यूट डालना है. कब डालना है, जब आइटम डॉट ID इज इक्वल टू मॉडल डॉट ID. अगर ऐसा है then add selected, otherwise don't add anything. This type. Okay. Why it is throwing exception? मॉडल का स्पेलिंग गलत है. This is the item dot id. यहाँ पे डाल के देखो, ठीक है? नो, सिलेक्टेड इज इक्वल टू, यहाँ पे देखो, अभी चलेगा, ठीक है? तो दिस इज हाउ यू कैन जस्ट ऐड टू select the default item. Okay, करो refresh. Let's put to the request match endpoints. Create to the request match multiple endpoints. Okay, कौन से create with employee. Okay, so go to here, see what we are missing. So create integer id, create id. But don't pass any id, then in the employee account over here two create method it is saying, but I don't see only one create method, right? Why it is throwing exception? Let's build the project, run the project. Okay, now let's send a dynamic ID from here, same like this, refresh. So ID is, यहाँ पे click करने के बाद 1. Once you send 1, it is selecting this properly fine, but not printing the values in the tick boxes. We are missing something. So go to this model dot first name is the value of your tick box. Name value equal to model dot first name. Let's do one thing. In the create, add the breakpoint here, refresh the page, and see if we have any employee with ID number 1. There is no employee, so that's why no values displayed here. Okay, still it is showing last one. Okay, so why it send 1? It should send 2, right? Because we are having 2 there. So go to the listing, employee create item dot id. Okay, item dot id means it should send 2 only, not 1. Why it is not sending 2? Let's check. It is sending 2 only. Not sure why it was not working before. Now let's continue. See, Mayur, Patil, everything is pre-populated. Got it? Now if you change, let's say, I want to change Mayur Patil to Mayur ABC something, Chauhan. So in that case, it should not create a new record. It should update that record in the database. So anyway, it will give a call to save method only. Here we can decide whether to update or create like this. आपको अपडेट करना है या क्रिएट करना है, यहाँ पे हम डिसाइड कर सकते हैं। किसके बेसिस पे कर सकते हैं? आईडी के बेसिस पे, लेकिन वी हैव टू पास दैट आईडी आल्सो. सो इन ऑर्डर टू पास द आईडी यू विल हैव वन hidden field, input type hidden, name equal to id, value is equal to model dot id, and that's it. Now you are passing the id field as well, and if employee dot id is equal to 0, मतलब क्या, मुझे ऐड करना है, तो यहाँ पे ऐड कर दो. अगर एम्प्लॉय का आईडी 0 नहीं है, मतलब समथिंग सम कुछ ना कुछ आईडी है, 2 है, 3 है, मतलब मुझे अपडेट करना है. हाउ टू अपडेट? एम्प्लॉय डीबी कॉन्टेक्स्ट डॉट अटैच. I want to attach employee to the database. Then employee db context dot employee dot state. Let me think how I was doing this. Yeah, entry, not employees dot entry. Then provide your object and then do the state. Okay, like this is equal to entity state dot modified, and then you can do db dot save changes. That's it. Itna hi. So this is for update this code else block, and that code is for add. Now there is one error. क्या error है? ASP.NET code could not found. What? Let's do fresh. Fail. Error. It is failing actually. This could not found. I'm not using that, so don't worry about it. Now, yeah, it is built successfully. Fine. So let's run the project. Now you can see this is list. I want to edit the Mayur Patil to Mayur Chavan. I will click on the edit. I will change it to Chavan. Okay. And submit. You can see it has been changed. No new entry added. It has changed the existing record. I want to add one more record. Onkar Mukni. Onkar at gmail.com. This is your mobile number. This is your designation. Submit. It has added new entry. I want to change the grade actually, not A3, it was A4. Okay, so let's change it to B3, let's say B2. Submit. See B2. So this is how we can basically implement the CRUD operation with the help of entity framework, SQL server, MVC architecture, and for front end you can use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and okay. So this is all I guess. We have yet to implement the validation, but that we will see in the next session. But at least server side portion we have covered. Okay, delete is also working. I hope you got the understanding. We'll meet again in the next session.